Hello, Mixed Nutcases. This is Nuke Joss, and with me,
Hi, I'm still Tech.
and we are going to be talking a little bit about food, holiday food specifically, foods for the holiday. And we're going to start with some food that we were each kind of given as a present. We were given little cakes. If you check the album art, you will see it, but I've got a little Rory.
I got a little puppy dog.
You got a puppy dog. Mine smells like lime of some sort, I assume.
Oh yeah, mine's just pure chocolate.
All right. So where do I bite first? It's really hard. Do I bite the head, the tail? He's so cute.
It just looks like a little sleeping Rory.
I'm going to bite his cheek.
I hope you feel bad. I'm going to take this doggy's head off. Let's go.
Okay. The foot came off and it's delicious. Oh my God. That's good.
This isn't a cake. This is just chocolate mousse.
Yeah. It's like a lime sherbet.
Very delicious. Well, no, it's this adorable little puppy dog, chocolate puppy dog. Made of pure chocolate. It's delicious.
I'm watching Tech just bite the head off of a cute little puppy dog. Like the monster that he is.
Yeah, well, you were going to find out sometime.
You can see Rory with the bite out of him.
Oh, no. Rory's very upset right now.
No, he doesn't look upset. Look. Yeah. No, this is really good. Our student at Aikido got us these. Everybody got like the regular molds. She had cows and little teddy bears, and then there was the special dog for the people that just like chocolate. But I got the special dragon because I got Rory.
Yep. Because every time she comes over to the house,
she tries to steal Rory.
she tries to steal Rory.
And I've brought Rory to Aikido, and she tries to steal Rory.
Normally, she's got him like tucked in her uniform, or
If she's wearing a hoodie, he's in her hood.
snuggled away under her jacket. You know.
Yeah. Wow, that's really good. So, I'm 100% okay if that's a new tradition, getting cute little cakes like this.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. Her friend makes them, so she went and got her to make some for us. That is awesome.
That was awesome. That was really good.
That is like the coolest little present.
But yeah, so let's talk about, I want to talk about holiday food.
Yeah, holiday food.
And I want to talk about, well, let's do it like we did the decorations episode.
Sure.
So let's go through different categories. Let's talk about the foods that you had in that category growing up around the holidays.
Sure.
What you do now, and then maybe what you want to do in the future, or something you know that somebody does. And first, I'd like to give a big shout out to the Nutcases and to our wireless listeners for, in the past,
all the recipes,
providing us with all of these recipes to try over the holidays and at various times of the year. I remember that first year in COVID.
Yeah.
In our old apartment, that we made all those fantastic recipes.
It was great.
It was great, and thanks to all of you for making that happen. It was super duper fun. We may have to do something like that again.
Well, I do it every year, but I haven't gotten any new recipes.
Ah, there you go.
So please send me more recipes.
Send us more recipes, please.
I will say I was talking about that just yesterday. We were at the potluck and we were talking about potatoes, and I said how potatoes is a perfect food because everything you make out of potatoes is good. And I went through all the different things, and I said, and I've even made potato candy, which I did that very first year. I didn't even talk about the sweet potato pies. My goodness.
Even if you take potatoes and leave them in a jar in the sun for a while.
Okay. I know where we're going here.
Even that becomes amazing.
But, yeah, no, potatoes are great. So I was very lucky, because we would have,
So let's start with cookies.
Oh, okay.
What can you tell me about Christmas cookies going up? Oh, same disclaimer as before. Both Nutty and I come from a Christian background, so we are going to talk about Christian holidays, but that's not meant to be exclusive. That's just our backgrounds.
Gotcha. So cookies. We grew up with snickerdoodles, the peanut butter cookies with the cross hatchings that you do with your forks, Kiss cookies, which are very similar to your drop jam cookies that your mom would make, but instead of the jam, which we had those too, but we would just put a Hershey Kiss there. So you'd have a Hershey Kiss in the middle of your cookie. Let's see. Oh gosh. I can't think of any others that I remember making, but I know that there were some. I mean, of course, there's like, the sugar cookies that and it wasn't until I was an adult that I ever did a sugar cookie that the icing wasn't still runny. but I'm sure there are others.
No, we didn't do a lot of cookies. We would do just the regular like white sugar cookie, but like done in like the shape of Christmas trees or stuff like that. We never did gingerbread because we didn't really like gingerbread that much.
Real gingerbread is good though.
It is. It just wasn't a big thing growing up. The drop jam cookies, like you're saying, which is just a white cookie with with mom's thumbprint in the middle,
thumbprint cookies,
and then they would fill the cavity of the thumbprint with a little.
Did you
bit
ever
of jam.
do it with the Kiss?
No.
Those are good.
Yeah. No, I can see that. What else did we do for cookies?
We didn't make them, but we always had Linzer torts.
No, that was pretty much it. Not a big cookie house. For us, it was always pies. Christmas vacation was the time of pies.
But your family does pies for everything.
Well, there was usually always a pie of some kind.
Yeah.
Right, because, you'd eat a pie over a week, and then you'd have another pie, and then another pie, and then, but like the holidays is when like the 5 or 6 pies would come out, and then you'd have all the different ones.
Pies were big for Thanksgiving. My mom would make tons of pies. She'll make some pies sometimes for Christmas. But no, we didn't for, now there's a lot of cookies that we would have around Christmas that we didn't make. So like the Linzer torts, rugula, and I know that there were the ones where they were like those spiral cookies and they'd be different colored dough. Those were always really yummy. And then there was like the one that I called them snowflake cookies, but they were like crackly and you'd smush them between white chocolate. Those were really good. And then macaroons and things like that. But we didn't make those. Yeah. I make a lot more cookies now.
What pies did you guys have?
Apple, pumpkin, strawberry rhubarb. Love strawberry rhubarb pie.
That's the problem. I don't like rhubarb, and rhubarb is such an overpowering flavor. I just want strawberry, and then you add rhubarb, and it just turns into rhubarb pie, which is fine if you like that, but can I just get strawberry pie, please?
Oh, my gosh. Rhubarb is amazing.
Yeah.
And then there was, every now and then, my aunt would bring a plum and pear pie from a friend, and that was just amazing.
So I know
pecans sometimes.
We had to be very, very lucky to get pecan pie.
We didn't make it, but it was very big. People would eat mincemeat pie, and I was not interested in that until I heard that in New Brunswick they make that with moose meat, and I want to try that.
Well, we have, you want to talk savory pies in French Canadian culture. There's tourtière.
Yeah, tourtière, which is yummy.
And as I've found, tourte is where the word turtle dove comes from. So tourtière is supposed to be a pigeon pie.
Okay.
But I've never had it with I've never had it with game meat. Like the tourtière pies that we would have was a half and half mix of ground pork, ground beef, and some seasonings in a pie shell, normally eaten with a little bit of ketchup.
Right.
But there are, as many different variations as there are days of the year. Rabbit, venison, bear, all done in different combinations. Now, as I've found out, is that it's supposed to be like a pigeon pie. I've never had that. I'm sure it's great, but that's not my family tradition. My family tradition is ground beef, ground pork.
When you told me that, I, of course, had to do research on the internet because I'm a nerd. And one of the things that I saw was that, it was originally pigeon pie because that's what there was an abundance of in France, I guess. And when they came to the New World, it was whatever was in abundance at the time, and that the animal actually changes depending on your location. So the fact that it's like, half beef, half pork makes perfect sense for, for the evolution of this.
Yeah, tourte, sorry, not turtle dove. Tourte was the French name for the passenger pigeon.
Yeah, gotcha. But yeah, so very, very interesting. I think it's also, since we're talking savory pies, we've both share a love for shepherd's pie, no matter what the meat is, even if it's not meat. But I've never had shepherd's pie as a pie in like a pie filling. I've had. Yeah,
it's more of a shepherd's lasagna is what I've had.
I've had it both ways. I've had it with a pie. Usually it's in a like a crock, and then there's like pie crust on top.
Yeah, I've seen that.
But yeah, usually the potatoes is the pie crust.
Now, have you had yours? Have you ever had it with gravy in it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. I've had it with gravy in it. I've had it with lamb. I've had it with beef. I've made it with beans, with kidney beans, and that came out really, really good.
That's basically chili at this point.
Yeah, with potatoes on top. I mean, come on.
How could you go
It's
wrong?
delicious.
It's chili and starch. Let's go. Let's go.
It's one of those things that it's supposed to be what is abundant. So it's not supposed to be, like lamb is not abundant. Lamb is really expensive. It does not make sense to make a food of the people using a really expensive protein. So, yeah. I also grew up with a lot of chicken pot pie. And after a holiday, that's what you did with your leftover turkey. You'd make a turkey pot pie. Turkey pot pie is so good.
Oh, your chicken pot pie soup.
Yes, the chicken pot pie soup is very good.
Really good.
It's really easy too. It's basically you've taken, and I know I have an episode about this, but you take a chicken, you're making chicken soup out of your leftover chicken, add a bechamel to the broth, you've got chicken pot pie. Use the same veggies you put in a chicken pot pie. You've got chicken pot pie. You want to make it fancy? Add some croutons.
So we typically go to my family for Christmas, and then we go up to see your family for New Year's and Epiphany, 12th night afterwards. And I've taken over quite a bit of the cooking responsibilities in my family kitchen.
Yes.
But we don't do a lot of the main cooking at your family. At your family dinner, mainly because there's just so gosh darn many of them, and the responsibilities get divvied out to people with actual kitchens in the area.
Yeah.
Because we travel to your family.
Yeah.
So we get kind of.
And the last couple of years, like I would still do the cake, the cupcakes.
Yeah.
But this year it's going to be tricky. Somebody else is going to have to do it. I can't do it if we're driving down the night before.
Yeah.
So.
Were you guys, okay, so, main course.
Okay, so we were lucky, or rather I was lucky because we'd get Christmas and New Year's. And Christmas, New Year's, and Epiphany. So we'd have a big feast for all of these. So
we would do Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah, so in 12 days I had 3 big feasts, which was great.
Were you guys a turkey or ham family? Excuse me.
It was different each year. It was always, Mom was like, well, what do we want this year? Sometimes it would be turkey. Sometimes it'd be roast beef. Sometimes there were a few times that we did lamb. I always savored the times we did lamb. Sometimes it would be ham. It all depends. And then as the family was getting bigger and bigger, as like my siblings started having kids, it became a lot more potlucky. So there'd be multiple things, not just one big main, dish, but we would always have mashed potatoes. Growing up, my mom always made she made an amazing mushroom gravy using cream of mushroom soup. Oh my gosh, it was so good. And so we all just kind of potluck it at this point. Everybody makes their specialties. There was always shrimp, always had shrimp cocktail. Often would have stuffed mushrooms, carrots lyonnaise, things like that,
Yeah, we were, we'd always do turkey or ham, but it was always whatever you didn't do for Christmas is the one you did for New Year's, so we'd kind of alternate back and forth.
In recent years, it's been ham for Thanksgiving and turkey for Christmas at your dad's house.
Yeah, and when Mom got sick, it got harder to do turkeys.
Yeah.
Because Mom was always afraid that a thawing bird was going to attract bacteria, and then everyone would get sick, and then we'd get food poisoning, and then Children's Aid would come in and take the grandchildren away, and we'd never see them again because I didn't thaw the turkey correctly. So it was much easier to cook from frozen or to cook a ham that was already sealed from the butcher. So anyway, it led to a lot of fights and arguments in the last few years, but I've never gotten the seasoning of my turkey nearly as good as Mom did, and
your turkeys are really good.
Man, I smoke my turkeys now.
Your turkeys are so good.
But I'm getting there. I'm trying to get and I cannot get the skin to crisp up like Mom did, but I'll get there.
You'll get there.
I've got time. Well, yeah, and then the ham. And we've already talked about cakes and pies, so we've already talked about desserts.
So you one thing that you were alluding to, but you have become the cook at your dad's place.
Yeah, mainly because Dad's got a bad back and he can't put the turkey in the oven, so that's kind of turned into my job. But
I think he also really likes cooking with you and going over different techniques.
But nobody cuts potatoes like Grandpa though, so we let him do the potatoes, and then normally at this point in the evening, I just refill Dad's whiskey glass and put it next to his chair in the living room, and then he gets to go hang out with the grandchildren, and I will just cook in peace.
Oh, please tell the story about the one grandchild who. So Pepper cuts the potatoes, but one of the nephews, it's his job to do the potatoes.
Yeah, the youngest nephew has now learned to mash the potatoes, but he's not tall. He's 11. He's not tall enough to reach over the counter. He doesn't want to use a step stool, and he can't mash the potatoes by hand. He goes, but I have to mash the potatoes. It's like,
he's not strong enough to use the masher.
He's not strong enough to use the masher, so he uses the beaters. And how much milk do you put in? Oh, I don't know. Prepare puts the milk in for me. Do you use butter? I don't know. Prepare does that part for me. Oh, okay. So can you get the beaters ready? I don't know how to do that. Prepare does that for me. Okay. So I assemble the machine for him. And it's like, okay, so now he's on the ground reaching up over his head with the beaters, putting it into the pot on the counter, but he's so short that he can't rotate the beaters all the way around the pot. He's just holding them in place in the middle of the pot. All the potatoes, by rotational force gets spread to the outside of the pot, and he has mashed almost exactly like 1 cup of potatoes in the dead middle of the pot, and everything else around it is still loves. And he's like, there you go, Uncle Bob, potatoes are done. Okay, let's rotate the pot, try again. Rotate the pot, try again. There you go, now they're all mashed.
It's adorable. I love when I walked in and they were all half done on one side, and you're like, we're going to turn the pot? Okay, now we're good.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, that's baby steps. Got to get to get there somehow.
The thing is that his older sister spends 1 day a week with Grandpa, and they cook dinner together, and then they play cards and they watch NASCAR, and they've having a lot of fun with this granddaughter-grandfather bonding time, and she's developed into quite a good cook and quite handy in the kitchen. But her brothers are starting to get jealous of the time that she gets to have a grandpa, so now they've started to want to help in the kitchen too. So the youngest is the one who of his own said, you know what, I'll just pick a task and make it my task. And you do not want to see the hellfire that will erupt if you make potatoes in that kitchen and he's not there.
Exactly. Yeah, don't make those potatoes ahead of time. And one of the things that I really liked is last year, just about this time, were taking a cooking class together, your dad and our niece. And it was, he did not like the name of this, but seniors and juniors cooking. And they would go in.
They had lots of fun with that.
Yeah, they went in every week and learned different things. And at the end, everybody brought in a recipe and everybody made other people's recipes, which again goes back to that whole being able to share community and share experiences and friendship through recipes, which I just think is so fun. And you touched on something earlier where you said, I can't get my turkey to taste like Mom's. And there's something about that ever chasing that flavor sense and trying to get into that. The last couple of years, I've been going through a lot of your mom's old recipes. Some of them I've nailed. Some of them are elusive. I will get you. Sucre à la crème. I will. I'll get you the right consistency one of these days.
And like the jam dumplings, the grand-pères, one day I will do them justice.
What are you talking about? Those things are amazing.
They're nowhere near as good.
Oh my gosh, they're like crack. They are just absolutely amazing. If you are fortunate enough to have been made grand-père by Tech, you know what I'm talking about. But there's very few people who have had that so far. And it's not something you can prepare and bring. It's
Yeah, to our southern listeners, imagine the dumplings that you do with chicken and dumplings. When you take the dumpling dough and you drop it into the stew. So instead of a pot of chicken stew that you drop your dumplings into, imagine it's a pot of raspberry jam.
Mm-hmm.
Very sweet raspberry jam that you're just dropping dumplings into, and then you just scoop that up and eat it. It is fantastic.
Absolutely gorgeous. And it is exactly the same recipe, because in the recipes Mom gave us, it says do it with chicken, do it with raspberry. You can even do it with maple syrup.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. At your table growing up, was there drink? Do you guys drink at the holiday table? Alcohol.
Oh, so for kids, not really. But New Year's we would have champagne.
Okay. Yeah, we always did champagne at Christmas. And New Year's, of course. Growing up, there was white wine. Dad did this thing for a little while, just after I had left home.
My parents drank, but not as kids.
Yeah. You'd always get a taste if you wanted it. I remember
we'd fight for the cherry from the bourbons.
Yeah.
I'd wash it off. Everybody else would be like, bourbon.
When I left home, when I would come back for the holidays, Dad had started this tradition that he learned in Germany when he went on a business trip, that they would do a shot of hard liquor halfway through a big meal. Apparently it helps settle your stomach to make room for more. I don't know the physics of how that works, but Dad had a bottle of vodka on the table, and halfway through dinner, here we are doing shots.
I do not remember any of this. Wow.
Yeah. I think the rest of that bottle of vodka is still in the back of the liquor cabinet. It was not a tradition that lasted very long because we don't like vodka.
Yeah, I was going to say your dad's more of a cognac man.
Yeah, and then of course there was always the dessert drinks.
Yes.
Afterwards.
So my parents weren't like no alcohol. Like there was definitely alcohol on special occasions. But we would all get champagne at New Year's and things like that. I do remember I would go out to this one restaurant, this Chinese restaurant. It was a very fancy Chinese restaurant, and they would serve me plum wine, and that was cool. And then if we were on the boat, wine coolers. You'd start with wine coolers. That's right. Oh, joy. It sounds so tacky to say now, but yeah. But no, it just like my parents drank, and that was kind of like, ew, that's what grown-ups do, But now it's mostly just, at your parents, there's the champagne and so forth. And if I'm at my mom's, I'm usually the one driving.
Yeah. So there's one other food thing I want to talk about. And that's what we alluded to in the last episode, was when our family started going to midnight mass.
Oh, yes. This is a great food tradition.
Started going to midnight mass. We would then do presents afterwards. So it was, depending on when we got hungry, it was either in like the late evening, like 10, 11 o'clock on the work up to midnight mass, or after we got back at like 1 a.m., that we would put in like spring rolls and chicken wings and little bits and bites and little niblets into the
all hors d'oeuvres and appetizers.
Yep. And then everybody cracks a beer or pours themselves a whiskey. Out come the cards, and we would just play cards. And
this was already a tradition from the moment I started spending holidays with you.
Oh yeah, we started this. I think it's when my sister and I. It started when we were like late teenagers that we would go to the midnight mass, and then we would just like, why are we going to wait? It's technically the 25th. Like, why are we going to wait to open presents? Let's open the presents now. So we would open the presents at 1 a.m. And we always did this. And my mom doesn't sleep very good, and neither do I. And then we would just stay up and open presents, and then, 3, 4 in the morning, we would finally go to bed. And then you get to sleep in on Christmas. Like, how great is that? Like, everybody else is getting up at 7 in the morning. You get to sleep in till like 10, 11 o'clock.
Yeah, it's those suckers with kids.
Yeah.
Sorry, suckers with kids.
And then we'd get up and then start making dinner.
So growing up, we always went to midnight mass. That was always a thing. I think like we might have had eggnog when we got back or something, or hot chocolate. Like you got to have a little nightcap kind of a thing. But we always went to midnight mass. Like it was my mom's idea of waking up early to go to mass on Christmas was not a great idea. But midnight mass was always very nice, and it was always a family thing. So yeah, I will say midnight mass, because of midnight mass, one of the mysteries of Christmas was ruined for me as a child.
Oh no. Spoiler alert, young wireless listeners.
No, I won't spoil anything. I'm just going to allude and say one of those mysteries, because I heard my mom telling somebody else, well, we went to midnight mass and then we took separate cars. So this happened there. And yeah, one of the mysteries got ruined, and I felt really dumb for not knowing it sooner. But yeah. But midnight mass was always a thing. I loved it. We didn't wake up super early anyway, because half my siblings, by the time I was a kid, half my siblings worked at the church anyway. So they were all at work in the morning. And so, we didn't really do like a Christmas breakfast thing. We just did like a regular breakfast, and then we had a lunch. Grandma would come over, and lunch would turn into dinner, and the whole 9 yards.
Did you guys do milk and cookies for Santa?
No, actually, because a lot of my siblings worked at the church and worked on Christmas morning, we gave Santa a break, and Santa would come later on in the afternoon sometimes.
Oh, I see.
So we'd go for a walk while Santa was going to come to the house.
Oh, I see. How very nice of Santa. How very nice of you guys to...
Yeah. To try to help him with the scheduling.
Right. Just let him come later in the day.
Yeah.
That's nice.
That was really nice. And we were very nice because we'd go for a walk while Santa came to visit.
Oh, very good.
Yes.
I remember my sister, when she was quite little, got very, very upset that Santa Claus got milk and cookies for sitting in that sled and not doing anything, but the reindeer got nothing, and they were the one doing all the hard work, rocketing around the world delivering billions of presents, but they got squat. She was very, very upset at this. Yeah. And it started a thing with her that she would leave out milk, cookies, and carrots.
I mean, that's fair.
And now she's continued it on with all three of her kids, that they leave out carrots for the reindeer.
Well, of course. They're not going to be interested in cookies as much. But yeah, I mean, that makes sense. No, we never left anything out. But we also only ever got stockings. We didn't get presents.
Right. I'm now reminded of that line from Futurama. It's like, oh, Christmas was great. Dad would make his special eggnog made out of bourbon and ice cubes.
Yeah. No, I also think that, there's not a lot of equity in Santa's visits. Just going to put that out there. There's not a lot of equity in Santa's visits. And
if he was unionized, he'd be mad.
Yeah, I will tell you that I stand with the parents who, all the good parents come from the parents, and Santa gets the fluff. That's where I stand. But I will say that in our stockings, there were always some tried and trues that count as treats, as food. Always got an orange, nice big navel orange, and an apple. Lots of kisses, of course, in the red and green, and a Russell Stover's chocolate Santa. It was, at the time, I thought it was big, but maybe it was about 4 inches, 5 inches tall, hollowed in the middle, but really good chocolate. And the candy canes and things like that.
Oh, that's great.
Is there anything? Well, I know for your mom, it was always pot of gold.
Pot of gold and after 8.
Yeah. Oh, I loved after 8. Yes.
Yeah, pot of gold and after 8 for chocolates.
But that was always a gift to your mom.
Yeah. So we would always get in the stockings. We would get kisses, and because we're old, we'd get Werther's.
Yeah, I love Werther's.
I do love Werther's Originals.
Yeah.
And those little candy canes always, and just whatever our regular candy of the day was. I used to get a lot of Nerds.
You had Nerds in your stocking?
Yeah, Gobstoppers.
Wow.
Yeah.
lucky. Those are not Christmas candies.
Nope, they're just candy.
So for the American listeners and people not in Canada, Pot of Gold is a sampler box. Think Whitman sampler. Life is like a box of chocolate.
Yep.
Yeah. But it's a brand that I've only ever seen in Canada. So it might be elsewhere, but I never saw it in the States. So I just needed to but your mom loved them.
Oh, and it usually around Christmas, we would also get that famous blue tin of Danish butter cookies.
Oh, you mean the sewing kit?
Before it turned into the sewing kit,
when
we would actually get the cookies.
What? Lies.
Lies. There's no cookies in that.
There's no cookies in that.
It's a sewing kit.
I will say I was always baffled by the idea of like cookies being in just a tin. Like, how is that like, and I know that cakes used to be in tins and things like that. And it's like, wait, but how does that not go bad? Like, that's the thing. I know.
It's the magic of a Danish butter cookie, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. Ask the Danes.
But, it was always one of those things. I was like, wow. And then I realized that, what I thought of as a cookie was very different because what I think of as a cookie is chewy. You need something chewy.
Well, these are kind of crispy, but they get chewy. Like, these are meant for dunking. Like, these are supposed to be, like, dunked in your tea or coffee.
They're supposed to be with tea, yeah.
They go great with whiskey. No, they don't. I'm lying.
I was going to say, have you tried? I don't know.
I'm just trying to be fun.
Some things do, though. I mean, chocolate goes with whiskey.
Some whiskeys.
Whiskeys, yes. And some whiskeys go with condensed milk. When you make an Irish cream, and as I have in the past, and I recommend Gibson's. I loved eggnog, though, growing up. I still love eggnog. Are you kidding? I love eggnog.
With actual egg in it?
I've had it with egg. It's really good. Stephanie, Mark C's wife, she made it when we lived in Fredericton, and it was so good. I've had it with booze. I don't with booze. I know it's supposed to be an alcoholic drink. I don't like it with alcohol, but I do like the Irish cream with rye, not Jameson.
There is a fabulous YouTube show called How to Drink.
Yes.
Where Greg is a mixologist. He's never worked as a bartender, but he has incredible knowledge. He's been going on for almost 10 years now, thousands of episodes, and he teaches you how to mix drinks. Anyway, he just recently did an episode on store-bought eggnogs.
Yeah.
Where he went to his local liquor store and bought all of the different eggnogs that they had for sale.
Yep.
And man, does he not pull punches.
Nope.
On stuff he doesn't like. It is a very funny episode. It is very, very good.
Yeah. What I've learned from him, and I agree with everything I've tried, if somebody's selling you a mixed drink already in a bottle, it's not good. It's just not good.
Yeah, usually not.
No. But, Bailey's, usually pretty good. But homemade Irish cream, you never want to drink Bailey's again. Except that 40 Creek Nanaimo bar. I'll drink that again.
Oh, there's the one at the store that we saw that I haven't tried yet.
The butter tart?
The 40 Creek butter tart cream.
Yeah.
That's going to be awesome.
I'll try it, but I don't know if it can replace my Nanaimo bar. I think they're special. I think they are not bringing back the Nanaimo bar because they replaced it with the butter tart.
I don't know. I saw them both.
Oh, okay. Well, you didn't buy me a Nanaimo bar?
No, I didn't buy it.
Oh. So these are two things that are very Canadian, and I think we should share what they are because they're awesome.
Nanaimo bar is it's normally served frozen or cold. It is just it's a 3-layer dessert of graham cracker, custard, and chocolate. Mm-hmm. Normally sliced into little cold bars. Quite chewy, very, very good.
It's a coconut graham crust, but you don't realize there's coconut in it. Yeah.
I've never noticed the coconut.
Very thick custard.
Yep.
Really good chocolate. Absolutely
and then
delicious.
A butter tart is, it's almost a sugar pie. It's almost a sucre crème of just a gooey brown sugar, like a melted brown sugar concoction in a tiny little pie shell, about 2 inches across. You can eat them in a bite. You can eat several of them. Anybody who brings butter tarts to a work party is a savior.
Unless they put raisins in it.
You know what? That's a raisin pie, and that is a huge thing in my dad's family. I grew up with a little box of raisins in my lunches at school. I don't mind raisins, but for some reason they never put the good raisins in the pies. They put the bad raisins. They put the big yellow chewy ones.
Wait, they put the yellow raisins in?
Yeah, the big sort of squishy ones. They never put the little dried up ones, the good ones. So I don't know.
I like yellow raisins, but I definitely would not put them there.
No, but no, they don't belong. They don't belong in butter tarts.
No, they don't. They really don't. Now pecans. You could drizzle a few pecans into your butter tart.
I'll tell you another pie that comes out at the holidays that my dad hadn't had since he was a kid, and at a recent family gathering, his older sister
torta quick
made for him the quick pie.
Yes,
and I mean quick, Q-U-I-K, as in the chocolate drink powder mix that you apparently can make into a pie filling.
That bunny has no idea.
He has no idea what we're doing. I've never had quick pie, but apparently it was a big thing growing up in my dad's family.
I was also thinking of so there's pâtisserie, which it translates to nun farts. And whenever you're making a pie, you all the crust that you cut off around the edge, you just put it to the side, and then you roll that up in brown sugar and roll it up into pinwheels and bake that, and they're absolutely delicious. They're just a couple little snacks that you get with the leftovers. Well, somebody started making sugar pie that is filled with pâtisserie. So it's a bunch of these little nun farts in the middle of a sugar pie, and it's pretty darn good. I lost you.
No, I'm trying to look it up on Copilot to see if it could give me what the equivalent name would be. And all it says is the French-Canadian dessert you're referring to is called pâte de sœur. In English, it's often translated to nun's farts. Despite the amusing name, it's a delicious pastry made from puff pastry and cinnamon sugar. Would you like to know how to make them, or perhaps their history?
Okay. Well, I mean, Copilot's pretty good on target there. But yeah,
we don't make ours with cinnamon.
No, it's with brown sugar.
Yeah, it's the brown sugar that you have left over after you're making your sugar pies. It's just a way to get rid of the leftovers, but they started becoming more popular than the pies in my family, with people requesting, could you just make me a whole batch of those? No! You can't make those without the pies. It's what you make with the leftovers.
Yeah.
It's like, imagine having a whole turkey, and just as you're getting ready to put it into the oven, somebody goes up and says, can you just make me turkey sandwiches? It's like, no! You can't.
Imagine if there's a whole bird that you've been growing and people have been roasting, and then suddenly all these bars are like, I just want the wings.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's happened before.
Excuse me, Mr. Chicken Farmer.
Yeah. Can I just get your wings?
Can I just get you to cut the arms off all your birds, and I'll just take those? Thanks.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's happened before. But yeah, absolutely. The so many delicious pies. The thing is, when you come to French Canadian food, it's going to have brown sugar, it's going to have cream, and it might even have syrup. And all of these are good things.
Yeah, my culture has a bit of a sweet tooth. But then again, it's product of the environment, right?
Yeah, well, you have what you have, right? Yeah. Like, if you've got, I don't know, bogs of berries, you somehow figure out how to turn them into food. If I make cranberry sauce.
If I take these disgusting bogberries and drench them in enough sugar, I can make them palatable.
And then everybody loves them. Or some people love them. Or we decide we love them enough to put them in a jar, in a can.
That reminds me, I haven't seen a good festive cranberry cylinder in a while.
Well, they were selling them at the store. I saw them the other day.
Yay, festive cranberry cylinders.
But you don't eat them, so we do not buy them.
No, but I love the cylinder. It just makes
I like real cranberry sauce.
It makes me laugh.
Real cranberry sauce can be done really well. But again, it doesn't taste like cranberries. It tastes like cranberry sauce. But yeah, so those are some of the foods that we eat. I have really gotten into the whole, I'm making a bunch of stuff before the holidays, and that's kind of been my tradition. And I've got recipes. I got a bunch of sweet potato recipes that I got to make before the sweet potatoes go bad.
So I've been doing the prime rib. I've been doing pretty good with the prime rib. I think my next fancy challenge that I'd like to do for the holidays, maybe not this year, but my next challenge is I've wanted to make a Wellington for a long time.
Oh yeah.
So I think a beef welly.
I volunteer as tribute. I volunteer as your guinea pig for this.
Or the other thing that I need to do with my prime rib and my au jus is I need to learn to make Yorkies.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I need Yorkshire puddings.
Those are easy enough.
Yeah, just throw them in a muffin tray.
Yeah.
So-
and you've kind of I've kind of upped your game this year.
Did you?
Got you a new fancy gadget.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. Wow. I'm so sorry. Yeah, you got me a sous vide.
Yeah.
So far, so good with it. It's pretty fun.
We are sous videing.
Yeah, I'm not one of these converts that, here I am, sous videing my breakfast burritos or, absolutely everything in the kitchen.
No, but I do kind of like that. We freeze a lot of meat. Like we go to Costco and we put them into portion size bags and then we put them in the freezer. I do like the idea that, I don't have to thaw it and then cook it. I can put it in frozen, just add my marinade.
Yep.
Yeah.
Works pretty good.
Yeah.
We may have to look, if we want to get serious about sous videing and we want to keep doing it, we may have to look at a vacuum sealer again. Mm-hmm. Because the bags that we have are not big enough for
some of the big pieces of meat. Like you're not going to fit a brisket in there.
Oh man.
Sous vide brisket.
16 pounds of brisket.
Has Guga done that?
I'll have to check the tapes.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's all I got.
Yeah, no, the sous vide has been kind of fun though. I totally get it. The steak is quite tender. It's very surprising, I will say. But yeah, those are our holiday foods. What are some holiday foods that you're really excited about? Let us know, and we'll talk to you in the new year. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Nutty Bites is produced by Nimlas Studios under a Creative Commons Attribution No Commercial Non-Derivatives 3.0 International License. That means you can't change it without my permission. You can share it and send it to your friends. Just link back to me, my site, and everything. We live at nimlas.org, which has links to everything social media, including facebook.com/group/nuttybites and patreon.com/nukejoss, or call 347-NUTTY42.